Hi, everyone. We are just going to give all of you a few moments to come in and then we will get started. We are so glad that you're here. If you want to introduce yourself in the chat, let us know a little bit about your small business if you have one, just so that we can sort of get started here and get the energy up. And we will begin in just a few moments. I am so glad to see everyone. If you are just joining us, we are just giving everyone just a few more moments to funnel in and we will get started really soon. Oh, I'd love to see all of that introduction in the chat. I think we're going to get started now. Welcome. My name is Rachel. I am the Marketing and Communication Specialist here at the Small Business Development Center at Temple SPDC. We help small businesses start, grow, and succeed. We do this through our no-cost consulting and a variety of no-cost webinars and training programs. My apologies. A little bit frog in my throat. We do this through our no-cost consulting and a variety of no-cost webinars and training programs like the one that you are attending today. You are joining us for building your professional brand. We will be recording today's session, and a copy of that recording and today's PowerPoint will be sent to all of our attendees within a few days in a follow-up email. All of our attendees have been muted, but we really encourage you to post any questions that you have in the chat or in the Q&A. And I am now going to turn the floor over to Soleil.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I am your facilitator and presenter today. My name is Soleil Meade, and I am the Pennsylvania Grow with Google coach. And we are going to be talking about building your professional brand. So let me go ahead and move to the next slide and officially introduce myself, which is going to tell you why this particular workshop is one of my favorites. I am, like I said, the Pennsylvania digital coach, but I'm also the owner of Soleil Branding Essentials. So I absolutely love everything branding. I have a full service agency that helps small businesses like yourself, nonprofits, visionaries, and businesses alike bring their vision to life through their brand. I do graphic design, web design, brand strategy, marketing plans, all of those things. Those are my favorite things to do. So today is one of my favorite topics where I get to guide you all through on how you can build your professional brand. I love the engagement in the chat. I want you all to keep that energy throughout the entire way through. One thing about our digital coaches program is that the coaches are small business owners just like you. So it is literally our privilege to be able to train you and to give you tools and resources and also connect with you. So I want you to utilize this time to be present and engage, take notes, ask questions in the chat if you have them. I dropped all my contact information in the chat as well. If you have any questions outside of here, please, reach out to me and let me know how I can support you. I'm also going to drop the digital coaches information. You can follow both myself and the digital coaches program on Instagram. And if you decide to post about this workshop today and how it affected you, make sure you tag me, hashtag Google Digital Coaches and Grow with Google and Temple SBDC to show love to the resources that are available for you to help your business grow. So let me go ahead and get into the agenda for today. So we are going to talk about what exactly a brand is. So even before we go ahead and get started, I want to encourage you all to think about your favorite brand. How would you define a brand, and what is so special about your own brand? Those are all questions we're going to get to today during our workshop. We're also going to talk about how your brand can really help you grow your career or scale your business. We're going to define what a brand is by talking about your brand story and creating a brand statement. So this is an interactive workshop. So again, pull up your Google Doc, take notes, follow along, because you absolutely can walk away today with some solid deliverables that you got from this workshop that you can apply to your actual business. But we also are going to talk about the important people and things that we can do to grow our network, which is a direct connection to the success of our brand. So I am going to go ahead and get started. I want you to tell me, what's a company that you like? What is a brand that you like? When you think about branding, who is your favorite brand? What comes to mind? And you can go ahead and drop that in the chat. Okay, Howard said Apple. Apple, someone said LM&T, Fenty Beauty, IKEA, Target. So talk to me a little bit more about that. Those of you who are responding, what stands out about this brand? What makes its mark on you? Is it its logo? What images come to mind whenever you think about that brand? When you think about Apple, we all know we think about the Apple symbol, right? When we think about Nike, we think about the Nike symbol. When we think about Fenty Beauty, we might think about the logo, but most of us probably immediately think about Rihanna, right? So brands can visually have different associations with it. Think about, oh, somebody said they love Sephora. That is the example I use every time I do this workshop, because I absolutely love Sephora and it's one of my favorite brands. I think about the black and white. I think about the cleanliness. I think about the way that their staff dresses. Everybody is dressed alike. It's professional. Their customer service is a part of their brand. I'm sorry, I'm not hating on Ulta, but it's something about Sephora. When you go in, there's people everywhere, but everyone's attended to. So yes, Sarah, I'm with you. I love that. But let's think more. Who is your favorite brand's target audience? Who are they here for? Someone again said, Fenty Beauty. Who's their target audience? Women of all shapes and sizes, women who are unashamed of their body, women who want to take care of their skin. Think about that. What makes their product set apart from competitors? What makes them stand out? How does their advertising make you feel about their product and service? Does it make you want to go buy it? Does it make you think about the buying decisions that you might make? Or some brands that we associate with have very eco-friendly foundations. Does it make you want to be more eco-friendly? Does it make you want to make sure you recycle your makeup containers? Or like, what does it do for you? And the reason why I ask these questions is because the same way that you went through all of these questions and had answers for someone else's brand that you admire is the same way that we want to build our own professional and personal brands. So the minute someone talks about Tanya Cooper and her business, there is a visual that comes to life. There is a product or service that they associate with her. There is something that sets her apart that makes that person share that with the next person. So our very favorite brands, the same energy that they give us, we want to give off on our own, right? So let's go ahead and talk about how companies build brands. So when we talk about companies, I want you to think of like larger companies. Some of the ones that we talked about, Nike, Fenty Beauty, somebody mentioned IKEA, their corporate colors, right? You can't miss the IKEA building, that blue and yellow. Anybody's purchase from IKEA, it's probably one of our bittersweet things, are the instructions that we have to feel like we are literal like wizards in order to understand how to put something together. But it's a part of their brand. It doesn't stop us from buying, but the simplicity and the cleanliness of their products and the wealth of their products cause us to come back. But when big companies like that think about their branding, they have the capacity to hire marketing professionals who create their logos, help them get their brand strategy, curate their brand messaging, and all of that is considered branding. Branding is not just something that happens because of how your clients or your potential customers engage with your brand. Branding is something that is very deliberate. It is something that you, as the visionary, set for your brand and your business. You create this experience for people to come into and engage with your product or your services. And sometimes when we are small business owners, we might not always have the overhead and the finances to be able to create these huge branding and marketing packages that larger companies can. But we're glad to offer this workshop to you because we are going to give you the foundational skills and tools to build a solid brand. And as your money starts coming, as your business starts growing and scaling, then you absolutely can continue to grow. So when we think about what is a brand, you want to know that you're a person and not a company. So what has branding have to do with your actual career and who you are? One of the things that I teach people all the time is that you yourself, everyone that is on this session, is a visionary because you have some type of vision, some type of business, some type of product or service that you want to introduce to the world around you. Branding starts not just with the product or service that you put out, but branding starts with you and who you are and what you see. What story makes up who you are? Why are you starting this business? Someone mentioned that they are a freelance artist and a muralist. So knowing that creativity is a part of who you are, Sarah, then you have a brand story that probably talks about when you were introduced to art, possibly at a young age, or some people are introduced to art through it being an outlet for them to work through some trauma or some pain, and then a business is birthed out of it. So today we are going to really get into that because you don't want to look past who you are as the visionary that pushes out the actual product and service that you offer. Your story, your values, your skills, and everything you bring to the table is a solid part of what your brand is. So let's get the chat going again. I want you to tell me a public figure that you admire. So we talked about a company that you think of whenever you think about brands, but talk to me about a public figure that you admire. Who is someone's particular brand, a person that is a brand that you like? Because what's happening now, somebody said Ayana, yes, like she's a great brand, Taraji P. Henson, because again, Michelle Obama, Brene Brown, love Brene Brown, Alicia Keys, I love it. Keep them coming. The point of this is to get us in the feel of knowing that each of these people that you name are professionals, they're persons, right? But we can probably associate a brand or a title with them, right? But whenever we look at them as a public figure that we admire and ask those same questions, I bet if you lined up those questions of how do they make you feel? What qualities do they possess? Who is their ideal customer? Who typically follows this person? What makes them set apart? And then you line those answers up with the answers that you would ask for their actual business. They are going to look very similar because out of the visionary comes the business and the vision, and the very same values, the things that make them stay out, end up being very harmonious together. So I love the people that you all named and how you talk about them. You know, Sarah says she admires Barack Obama because he created the healthcare marketplace that she as a freelancer uses. And he also speaks clearly that he is a family man and he dresses very attractively. So there you go. The same way that we are able to look at the public figures that we admire, we want to show up and build our professional and personal brand that people could speak well of who we are. And that, again, is what we are going to get all into today. So again, your brand is just not something that you create whenever you want to start your business or your vision. It is something that is integrated into everything that you do. Your brand is integrated into whenever you are talking about your business, into your advertising, into your social media posting, both personal and professional social media posting. It is in those experiences where you're networking or, out and about in the community and someone asks you about what you do. It's more than just your fonts and logos, but it is. Fonts and logos are a part of your brand. If you are on more of a career path and you're looking to build your personal brand or your professional brand, not just for your business, but maybe you're someone who doesn't own a business, but you are very solid in your career, looking to move around. So you want to spruce up your brand should be in your social media posts. Because guess what? Nowadays, if you are applying for a job, you can almost guarantee that they are going to Google you. And what comes up is what they are going to ingest about who you are. So your social media post should reflect your brand, your resume, how you interview, that the messaging of who you are should come out. And we are about to get into that. So if you're ready, you can pull up your document so you can start to take notes and take away some keys from today, because I'm going to ask questions and even give you guys some time to think through and craft some of your brand story. So today we're going to talk about 3 steps to build your brand. The first one is defining your brand. So I'm going to drop a question in the chat, and I would love for you all to answer. Let me know what the word brand means to you. When you think about the word brand, what comes to your mind? Share that in the chat. And Ami answered or asked the question, is there a difference between a personal brand and a professional brand? And I would say absolutely. So a lot of them may look very similar, but I highly encourage you to open up a document and start to build your brand for who you are personally, and then also open one for who you are and what your business is. Your business is a product or service that you provide, but your personal brand is actually who you are and what you have to offer. So I want you to think about it in terms of who you are and what you have to offer. So for instance, me, who I am and what I have to offer is, small business coaching, graphic design, web design, brand strategy. I love strategic thinking and team building. And all of those things could be copied over to my professional brand. But if I just stop there and make it one, then you miss the fact that I am an activist and a community leader. You miss the fact that I have my own nonprofit organization, that I am a proud auntie and a great auntie. You miss the fact that I wrote books. So again, like, those are the products and service that I provide, but your personal brand that you build for yourself is all encompassing of who you are. So I absolutely would recommend to really take the time and work out both. So I asked what brand meant. A lot of people said identity, which I love. That's perfect. Somebody said an identifiable image, which speaks to the visual components of branding. It's the goal for your business. It absolutely is, which speaks to the messaging of branding. I love what Craig said. He said it is the essence. You are right on my page, sir. The essence of a brand. I say all the time that your brand is the heartbeat of your business or your vision. It is the literally essence and existence of it. So again, a brand is more than colors and more than fonts and logos and catchy reels. All of those things help contribute to the brand, but it's truly the essence of who you are. So let's go ahead and talk about a brand statement. So one of the first things that you want to create when you are thinking about building your brand, defining your brand, is a statement. It's like 1 or 2 sentences that quickly let someone get to know you and your work. It tells them your career or your educational history. It lets them know where you are heading. It lets them know, in essence, what it is that you do. It should help people understand the key information about you. And you can include this. I would say practice it whenever you are, you know, speaking with other people, but also like put it in your resume, put it in your description on your social media. Make sure that that statement is prominent, because again, what we put out about our brand is the impression that we leave on the people that engage with our brand. So the more that you put your statement and your brand positioning statement out there, the better that it will become. So this talks about a career story. So this career story, or this could be your entrepreneurial story, is really important. I touched on this earlier, and I talked about how I think it was Sarah, who was an artist and probably has a story as to when she was introduced to art, right? And that is a part of her brand statement. That story that you have really helps to build the case as why your brand is important. It really does build on the why. Why do you do what you do? Why is it important to you? What is the outcome? What do you see? If you ever notice that in movies about a superhero or a supervillain, the audience almost always learns the hero's origin story. So then that way it helps them to understand why they do what they do. It's the same thing with us and our brand story. So your life and your work experiences, they all contribute to who you are, how you approach your business or your career, or anything that's connected to your business. So a career story is very important. You all can keep the questions coming. I see them. And as soon as we pause at the end of step 1, I will address some of those questions, and then we'll move to step 2. So you can keep them coming in the chat. So once you create, we're talking about your brand statement overall, which 1 to 2 sentences, but you want to think about your career story. It's going to help you to make this brand statement. You also want to think about your professional goal. What is the goal for your brand? Is it going to help people to, revolutionize the world around them? Is it going to help them maintain better health? Is it going to cause people to make your brand a world like household name? What is your goal? What do you see for it? This is that moment where you should just allow yourself to dream again and think about what it is that you see. But it really should be very clear when you express your brand goal, your professional or personal one, that it's giving someone insight to where you're going. So your story might be, I started this business as a single mom, and it is my hopes that I'm able to create a legacy for my children. They may or may not want to take on my business because they have their own purpose and vision inside of them, but it is my goal to position them to have a lifestyle that I wasn't afforded to have. And I hope that my product and service, and as I share my story, influences other single moms to recreate the lifestyle of their family. I don't know who that was for. I just kind of made that up on the spot. But essentially, that's how we want to speak. That goal, sometimes that personal goal is the very thing that grabs people and attracts them to your business and your vision. So don't be afraid to share your brand story, to talk about what you see in your goals. So I want to give you guys a couple minutes to combine that brand story and that goal. But I want you to write more later. Don't just stop here. It's Tuesday, so we have several days of this week left. Put an hour on your schedule to invest some time into your goal. Here are a couple questions to get you started. And I'm literally just going to give it maybe just a minute or two, because I want you all to share what you are writing if you would like to. But what made you come interested in starting your business or your vision or the work that you do? Who has influenced you along the way? Why is this important to you? I want you to answer some of those questions and share it in the chat. So I want you to go ahead and craft that story. write down those things that you want to convey to others, but a list of things that you want your potential new customer, your new partner, um, your new client to know about you. And then a good way is to choose the top 3 of them. So I'm going to pause for just a moment, and then I want you to go ahead and start sharing in the chat as you generate that. Anything that comes to your mind. I do see that someone asked if you will be getting the slides, and unfortunately, we are unable to share the entire slide deck, but we create a handout with all of our workshops that we will give you, and it'll walk you through each of those steps. There also will be a recording where you can go back and kind of pause this at your leisure and really get into it as well. Yes. So I went back to the slide with the questions. Someone were asking about them. Absolutely. You can screenshot any of the slides that were on so you can refer to it later, but answering these questions about your business and your brand or your career is really going to catapult you to have those tools and have that language that's going to help you to build a solid brand. Somebody said they started their event business one day when a vendor canceled their daughter's birthday party 2 hours prior to, because they had an injury on their side, but she was able to make the party happen without her. So this is, I love stories like this. So what happened is you became the solution to your problem. So just me reading how your business started, that's a key for you. The fact that you became the solution to your problem. So then you ask yourself, are you stressing out because you're working full time and you want your children to have a memorable birthday every single year? Are you stressing out because you're not sure what vendors to use and who's going to be reliable? If that is the case, then I was in those shoes once before too. I trusted a vendor and life happened, and life happens to all of us. But what happened was, I had to pivot and make sure that my daughter's birthday was a memorable moment. So I now am invested in creating memorable moments for people just like me who need to have someone or something to plug into to help them bring their visions to life. So again, that is perfect of allowing your story to play into that. It's not in every conversation you share your brand story and your goal, but you will be able, once you start to practice this language, you'll know what messaging is needed for who you're talking to, what audience you're talking to, whether you're talking to a potential client or a potential investor. It all changes, but this workshop today is to let you know to create it. We need to have it and be equipped and ready to speak it, right? So now you can write your brand statement. Your brand statement is made up of that story, the goals that you have, and then this part is the really important part. And I'm going to spend a couple minutes here. It's the qualities, the skills, the talents, and activities that you possess. Sometimes it's easy for us to create a mission or a vision statement that we recited and we can rattle it off and we can tell them that our vision is to become the leading full service branding agency across the state of Pennsylvania, but then we leave this void. Why can I be the leading agency across the state of Pennsylvania? Because I have been afforded with an amazing opportunity to be a coach, offer free coaching for small business owners across the entire state of Pennsylvania. I am invested into this. So I'm just giving you a part of my story and how it would flow and the importance of us knowing what we bring to the table. I've served as the PA digital coach for 2 years now. I've owned my business for almost a decade and have grown it to not only work with small businesses, but communities and nonprofit organizations across the state of Pennsylvania. I've spent over 10 to 15 years in my craft, So you have to build yourself up. If we don't feel comfortable talking about what we bring to the table, how can we expect for someone to sit at the table and invest in us and trust us with their vision? So I do not want you to leave that part off. You got your story together, you got your goals together. You also need to really dig into that list. What are your qualities? What skills do you have? What skills are you working on? What talents do you have? And what activities do you do? You might find that in your business, the fact that you work in your community is very attractive to investors, partners, and clients. You don't want to miss talking about that. And that, in essence, is how you create your brand statement. It is the first step to building your brand, and we have already really dug into what that looks like, having that story, creating those goals, and talking about what you do well and what sets you apart. So again, tell me about yourself. If you are asked that in an interview, or if you're at a networking event and you're on the potential other side of someone who wants to invest or partner with your business, what would you say? We don't want to say the practice things. Well, oh, my name's Soleil Meade. I'm a graphic designer, a web designer. I own my own business. And yeah, because guess what? If you're in a room networking, they're going to hear a similar response like that from everyone. People just rattle off what they do, and their business name, and then that's it. But how do you say something that makes somebody remember you? Using your brand statement, using these key points that we talked about. So now that you have defined your brand, it's going to help you speak and write about yourself as a business owner, as a potential employee or contractor in a more excellent way. Incorporate your brand into all of your marketing material. So whatever document or notes that you're taking right now, you should go and update your website and put some of that language in there. It should be in your bio. You should take some of that language and make it your social media post for next week, because it's letting people get to know you. People do buy and look for good products and services, but it's often how we present what we have to offer that really pulls someone in. So we're about to move to step 2 and talk about online presence, but I'm going to take a look in the chat to see if there were any questions. I see that Allison stated that she started her business because it was a way to use her art skills that she inherited from her father that recently passed away. What a way to honor his legacy and to honor the blessing that was handed down in the way of creativity. I hope that your business continues to thrive and that you continue to allow, like, your love and memory of your father will continue on, because you'll see it in the day-to-day of your business. So don't be afraid to share that story. Don't be afraid if you're sharing that story and your voice cracks. Sometimes, I'm not telling you all to practice being emotional and pricking people's emotions, but I'm telling you, sometimes it's that very story. It's us being human with a vision and curating and planning that vision well that pulls people in and makes us want to connect. So I did see a question about mission statement, and I believe Karima was asking if the brand statement was the same as a mission statement. And I would say it is not, but similar to a personal and professional brand, you will find some of the language the same. A good example is that a mission statement is what your business or vision has to offer and what its mission is to accomplish, right? But your brand statement is taking a little deeper dive in. It's almost like if you were to look at it as like a chart, the brand statement would be at the top of the chart, and then the arrows down would be maybe a mission statement and a vision statement. But it would be your career story, your goals, which would feed into the mission. The story kind of stays with the brand statement, but the skills and qualities would feed into your mission statement. So your brand statement is really something that kind of embraces and upholds all of the other statements that you will make about your particular business and brand. So I hope that answers that question. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and drop in the chat to see if anybody has taken a shot at creating and crafting their brand story, their 1 to 2 sentences. If you have, you can drop that in the chat. I would love to revisit them when and if we have time at the end. So yeah, you can go ahead and share that there. But next, I'm going to shift to the importance of your online presence whenever you are building your brand. So I want you to share also in the chat with me, what are some ways that you have built your online presence already? Do you have a YouTube channel? Are you on social media? Do you send a newsletter out? Do you have a website? Are you on LinkedIn? Talk to me about some ways that you've built your online presence already. I would love to hear what you all are presently doing, and then I'm going to move right into talking about some different ways that you can build your online presence and protect your online presence as well. So I see some people say social media, website, LinkedIn, newsletter, Facebook, Instagram, Google, you have a website. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's start with social media. A lot of us have social media. No matter what platform you use, you need to know that everything that you put online is going to affect your brand and how people view you. So it doesn't matter what your brand is, you want to make sure that you maintain a professional tone. Make sure that you maintain and honor your messaging, honor your brand statement every time you are posting and sharing. People should be able to see a direct connection between the two. A question that I often get during this segment is, do I need to have separate accounts for my social media? And I'm going to get into that more a little later. I believe there's a particular slide that covers that. I would say that it is helpful to have separate ones, but what a lot of us find is that I have a page for my business, but everybody follows me on my page. So when I am sending specific messaging about my business, I put it on my business page. But when you talk about career stories and why, and the stories that build me into the entrepreneur that I am, you will often find those on my personal page. So everything should make sure that they are reflecting the core of who you are and your visions, and it's a positive reflection on who you are. So you want to choose the right platforms for your business. Sometimes we get in the way of just staying on a platform that we are used to, but it's really important that you know your audience and that you pick the platform that your audience would be at. And you also want to make sure that you learn the platform once you pick it. So if TikTok is, one of the 2 platforms that we're encouraging you to pick, if you don't know it well, spend some time and learn it. Practice making TikTok videos, practice merging, learn the different types of videos and what's going to work best for your brand, and then strategize around that. So let's talk about some different social media sites. So you have photo and video sharing, which we talked about some of those already. We have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube with the YouTube Shorts or complete channels, TikTok. Whenever you are sharing on these sites, again, you want to keep your brand in mind, keep your brand statement in mind. Is what I'm posting reflective of my brand? If you have a faith-based brand and you happen to use a introduction song that has explicit language in it, it might send the wrong messaging. So you want to be very intentional on that. I see someone said that it's hard to get new followers on all of these social media sites, and it can be, which is why we encourage you to pick 2 to focus on. Pick 2 that your audience are on and that you, number 2, know how to function. Be consistent with those, learn them well, and utilize them with your brand. When I say be consistent, I mean like 3 months of consistent weekly posting, not falling off, not getting discouraged because there's not engagement, but continuing to stay in there, because it can be hard to get new followers. Follow the trends if you are doing reels and videos, and the algorithms, and study those things because they're always changing, but stay consistent. So microblogging, so that's like Twitter. That's where you're able to share just your thoughts in 1 to 2 sentences about what's important. That could be a good way for writers and content creators or storytellers to really get their message out there. You never know when something you tweet might go viral. Another thing is social networking. Like, how can you stay in touch with other people? What events are happening in your city? A networking event that you can show up to, practice your brand statement, practice making connections and sharing with people. So you want to create and share content. I already touched on that. You want to make sure your content is reflective of your brand. You want to make sure that the content that you create and share is consistent, and it makes sense for your brand. So the next thing that I would like to talk about is managing your online presence. So I already talked about the importance of like having potentially a personal and a professional page, but you also want to maintain your online privacy. You know, we talked about this already. Like, if you are interviewing for a new job, if you are awarded to become a contractor with a new employer, then 9 times out of 10, they've already typed in your name and your business name and did a Google search on it. So you want to make sure that you are well aware of what comes up whenever someone does a Google search on you. Do you all know that? Do you all know what comes up? This is how you search. So I want you all to walk this out with me and then report out to me in the end. So I want you to hit file in your window and open up a new incognito window. So reason why it's incognito, because it makes your search results more likely to look like the results of someone else who looks for you. Because if you're not in incognito mode, it's going to take all those cookies and everything you usually search about yourself and your business and pull that up. But incognito is going to make you search as if you are a stranger, right? Dominique says she Googles herself and her business weekly. That is good. There's even something called Google Alerts that you can put on within the Google system, that if there are certain like keywords or searches for your name or articles that pop up, it'll alert you. So that's another good tool to use. So I want you to open your incognito and search for yourself, and tell me what it is that you find. Jamelia, you asked, where are you pulling this up? So you would open up Google Chrome or Firefox, Safari, whatever browser that you use, and go to google.com and then put in your name or your business name, and then see what comes up in the search. So this exercise is to help you see what potential clients, employers, collaborators might find you online. And you want to know if this is something that you have control over. So some people do this and they're like, oh, Soleil, I found an old Black Planet page that I had. We'll go and delete it. You know, I found this article. I've had people reach out to me that were a part of like court proceedings for like a criminal case, and their name was popping up due to the dockets, and they wanted that removed for their business. So some of the things we have control over, and if you do, you want to delete it, you want to change the settings to private. Or if you don't have control over it, you want to ask other people to remove it. Maybe a friend posts one of your vacation pictures and you try to be very selective of what you share while you are, you know, enjoying the fruits of your labor on vacation. And you can ask them to remove you, untag yourself and stuff on Facebook so it aligns with your business. And you can set your personal accounts to private so everyone can't see them as well. That's another thing. So I'm going to go ahead and drop some information on how you can do this privacy or like audit work so you can see what comes up. Someone asked, how do I search incognito? So when you right click on your Google Chrome or whatever browser that you have, I know particularly in Google Chrome, because that's what I use, the menu that pops up will say search in incognito, and that's how you would do that search. You can also use this link that I just posted to do your own privacy and audit. And let me know if there's anything that you find that you will reveal. Somebody said they see criminal exonerations that aren't you at all. So you might need to add your middle initial. Again, like that information is so pivotal. So there's another Tania Miller out there. But if you know that there's another one that got some criminal exonerations that don't have anything to do with you, now you're empowered to create all of your business profiles and everything with your middle name. So there is no crosses there. Someone said, how do you remove something from a newspaper? Sometimes those are harder, but you can reach out directly to the media and ask them to archive the article. Another way to go about it is making sure that you are posting things constantly, like web links to things. So you push that article down further and further. Like, we don't want it on page 2, but if we get it to page 5, then maybe people are less likely to see it. Some things we don't have control over, who may post. So let me know, like, are you going to remove some of this stuff and work on some of the things that you found? We already talked about this already, is that when you're building your brand online, you want to have steady progress. So stay consistent, make smart choices about what you post and what you share, and monitor it consistently. I can't remember my friend's name who said that they Googled herself weekly and their business weekly. Like, get into that habit of monitoring what you're posting, what people see on a regular basis, so you can maintain the brand that you're building. So I think I caught all the questions that might have came in. So I'm going to move right into our final step that I will probably wrap up in the next 4 or 5 minutes to give us a little bit of time for question and answer at the end. So lastly, we are going to talk about how to grow your network, because if you establish this amazing brand, your story's on point, your goals are on point, you know how to speak about yourself with confidence, then you create the online presence that matches that. But outside of online presence, you're not engaging in anything else to build your brand. We want your brand to have exposure. And there are things that we have in our control to do in order to create exposure. So I'm going to cover a couple of those things. So we are going to talk about networking. I want you to let me know, what are some of your favorite ways to network? Like, how do you like getting your business name out there? Networking is forming a community of people that have shared intention on building each other up. So where do you engage with that at? Do you have a small group of business owners that you connect with, that you network with? Is there a women entrepreneurs group? Do you attend the meetings that Temple SBDC has in person so you can meet more like-minded people? Let's jump in and talk a little bit more about networking. So we have professional networking. We talked about LinkedIn as a social site, but LinkedIn is like cream of the crop for professional networking sites. I mean, people are pounding your inbox down, trying to connect to see how you can partner with one another. It is a great resource for networking. I also encourage that if you have LinkedIn, make sure that you're posting relevant things so people just don't see what you build in your profile, but also who and what you stand for. You're posting articles that align with your brand messaging and who you are and what you support and what you stand for. So engagement in discussion with other people, making connections, sending collaborations, and referrals are a strong way to build your network. Another thing is a mentor, and mentors play a very, very special place in your brand development. A mentor is somebody that typically has more experience with you, and they're willing to share their experience and their knowledge to help you grow. So some people usually ask, well, how do I find a mentor? How do I connect with someone? Number one, you want to make sure that you understand what it is that you're in need of in this particular moment. Sometimes you're in need of someone to help you build your confidence as a business owner because you don't have confidence. So then you would look for someone who you view as confident so they can mentor you in that area. One mistake that we make is just to look for any kind of mentor, and establishing what it is that you need helps you to look for the right kind of mentor. If you're looking for somebody to help you scale your business, or if you're looking for someone to help you, create capital for your business, you will want a mentor that has expertise in that area. You can meet them in educational settings, network settings, and settings like these. Talking to Rachel or your other SBDC support to say, like, who do you think would be good for me to connect with that in the network? Or is there someone at Temple that can help guide me through this? But mentors are pivotal. You also have advocates. So advocates are similar to mentors as they really help you further along. They help you grow. They help catapult you. A mentor is there to impart knowledge, but an advocate takes things to the next level. An advocate will take actions to help your career and your brand process. So a mentor might say, if you are looking to create capital for your business, they might say, okay, well, here are some of the things that I did. And they might tell you about some of the organizations and foundations that they partner with. And they're sharing, they're giving you knowledge that's very helpful and insightful. But what an advocate is going to do is say, you know what, at the Pittsburgh Foundation, I have a contact there, and I just got an email from them about some new funding that's going out in our field. Let me do a warm introduction so we can connect that. An advocate really gets in there and rolls up their sleeve with you. Both of them are valuable. Get both of them within your network to help you build your brand. Lastly is a board of directors, or some people like to call them an advisory board. You can create these for your professional, your business, as well as for your personal brand. This is a group of people who will hold you accountable and help you with your decision-making process. As business owners, I get it. Like, sometimes the weight of the decisions that we have to make is heavy. So you would go to this board, say, am I making a right decision? I wish I would have it had an advisory board established around a recent product that I just launched, because I know somebody would have been like, Soleil, you should consider making this an undated thing, because then you won't have any issues selling it whenever. I didn't have that. So you live and you learn. But when you create this, it helps to build your brand. It helps you to stay out of the pits that are along the journey that we take. So I want to know, like, out of the resources that I just shared, what are some networking resources that you feel like you need or that you want to try? So if it's networking opportunities and going to events, press 1. If it's mentoring, 2, advocates, 3, 4 for board of directors, or if it's all of them, just say all. I love it. So I am going to move to do a quick recap of everything that we went over. I'm going to go ahead and drop in the chat the handout for today, which is going to review all the points that we cover. I highly recommend that you come back and watch this if there were just parts that you wish you could have stayed a little longer. But this is what a brand is. These 3 steps is, incorporating your brand messaging into your materials and into your language and when you talk, building a strong online presence, monitoring that, keeping up with it, and making sure that you stay at the top of your game whenever people find you online, but also intentionally building your network. Those are the 3 steps that are going to help you develop a strong professional brand. And then next, I want to know, what's your action plan? Talk to me, like, what are you going to do after this workshop today? Let me know in the chat. And also, if you have any questions for me, now is a great time to drop them in the chat or in the Q&A. I'm going to drop some additional resources for you all in a survey that you can take for Google. And then I'm going to turn it over to Rachel, because I'm pretty sure she wants to share and get you all to complete the SBDC survey as well. And I'm almost positive she shared a resource about a social media course in the chat. So make sure that you use the resources that you have available here with us, as well as with our partner Temple. Google certificates are great if you're looking to grow your business. I just took the digital marketing and e-commerce one. It was absolutely amazing. It was a lot, but it was good. Also, you can go to our YouTube channel. We actually just did our Black Summit last week. It was last week for Black History Month. Amazing summit, full of 2 different teachings from coaches, as well as a panel from small businesses just like you across the entire country. So go ahead and check that out. And I'm going to drop the survey and a couple more resources. And I'll hand it over to Rachel. If anyone on the line right now has a success story that they would love to share about how this workshop or even Temple and its resources has influenced you, please drop your email in the chat now so we can reach out to you directly and collect that success story, because we need those to help us to continue to solidify and justify the work and the investment that we make in you all. So please, if you have a success story on how Google has helped your business, or this partnership with Temple has helped your business, please drop your email in the chat and we will be reaching out. And Rachel, thank you again so much for having me. And I'll turn it over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. If you guys have questions, we do have a couple more minutes, so please feel free to keep them in the chat. And we'll try and get to a few more. I just dropped in a link to our survey. That's the SBDC survey. It just helps us to know what you thought about the webinar. Gives you an idea for maybe topics you'd like to see in the future. And it also is a requirement of our funders. We like to keep them happy so that we can keep bringing back amazing presenters like Soleil. If you'd like to see Soleil later, in 2 weeks, she is going to be here presenting again on Google Analytics. We also have, like I mentioned a little bit earlier in the chat, we have some social media foundations courses coming up, and I'll make sure to provide all that information to you guys in our follow-up email. But we have foundations on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. We've got a lot coming up. We also have a Canva Basics to Digital Design. So if you're struggling with creating the physical assets, those actual designs, Canva is a great one. Those are all coming up. I'll make sure that you guys get them. As a reminder, you will be getting a recording of this presentation, and you will get a handout that is also in the chat, but we'll make sure to send that out to you in a follow-up email as well. So thank you so much, Soleil, for coming. It's always a pleasure to have you as a presenter. You're fabulous. So yeah, if anyone has any other questions, otherwise I'm gonna end it here.
Yeah, I think I just looked through the chat, Rachel, and it looks like we caught all of them. A lot of people want to know about the recording, and you addressed that. And I think I answered a lot of the ones about like the online search and doing an incognito search. I think we got it.
Awesome. All right. Well, it was so great. Thank you for joining us on your Tuesday. Thank you everyone for attending, and we hope to see you at more events soon. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Have a great week.